it's Linda Fox with PhocusWire. I'm here with Roberto Da Re, founder of Travel Ledger. Thanks for joining us, Roberto.
Thank you, Linda, for having me.
So, first question, you called it Travel Ledger from the beginning. Do you feel that the industry needs to move away from the dirty word that blockchain has become?
Yes, in a way, because blockchain is just one application of the distributed ledger technology, and that's actually what it is. It's a distributed ledger. So we borrowed the word ledger, we put travel next to it, and that, in our opinion, represents a lot more what we're doing, because in what we do, there is no cryptocurrency, there is no token, there is nothing like that. So it's a pure application of the smart contracts and the distributed ledger technology as an underlying technology.
And when you started, is it almost a year ago now?
It's a little bit over a year that we started talking about the initiative and the ideas and everything else. Obviously, we wanted to get some feedback early on from the market. And it was great. All the feedback was very positive. So we then started to really properly set up the business.
In terms of your business plan, when you kind of announced to the market and projecting forward to now, how far do you think have you executed in what you said?
Well, where we are right now is we already built the majority of the platform. We're looking to do a pilot with an association during the summer. And then we're doing more of a rollout into the market after that. We're quite further along down the line in relation to
You had mentioned an OTA in early stories.
I'm very lucky that, obviously, having been in the business for a long time, I have a very good and very wide advisory board. So one of our advisors is Fabio Carnevale, which is the CEO of Last Minute Group. Yes. So we have some expertise on the boards, and obviously facilitates conversations.
Okay, so is that a potential test brand for you, do you think?
Not specifically with them as part of the pilots, but obviously it's one of the many companies that we're talking to.
Okay. You mentioned funding.
Yes.
Can you share what you might be looking for and what you plan to invest in?
Yes, we are right now doing the two rounds of funding actually very close to each other. The first one is for £1.5 million pounds to take us into the next phase, covering the pilot and the first rollout. But then very close by, we're looking to raise a lot more than that in order to really focus the global rollout, because it is a global project.
Yeah.
So it's not something that we can start organically, with a couple of companies. We need to get the content and we need to get everybody on board relatively quickly.
Do you think, something like this, do you see it as potentially becoming some sort of standard for payments and settlement in travel?
Very much so. The way that we see that IATA with BSP and ARC, that is the standard way of exchanging data and collecting and managing payments. We see that potential for Travel Ledger to do in the non-airspace what IATA does in the airspace. And as I was saying earlier, the actual non-air market is twice as big as the airline market when it comes to B2B. So
I can't remember the figure you put on it.
$700 billion is the size of the B2B market turnover in travel non-air, while IATA, for example, they transacted in $340 billion in 2017. Those are the 2017 numbers.
Okay. So substantial market for the taking.
That's right. The good thing is that it's in the international market by nature. So even if we are focusing in a couple of European countries, obviously the UK being the natural place for us to focus, being based there, actually the suppliers that we're talking to and the suppliers that we put on board in one country, they tend to be also suppliers that operate in other countries.
Right, makes sense.
So from that perspective, even tackling a couple of markets well early on already gives us a huge head start in some of the other markets as well.
So here you are doing a second business, however many years on. You've got Dolphin Dynamics and not in the background, that's not fair, it's running along itself. What's it like this time round starting a business funding, all those things compared to 20 years ago?
The biggest difference is today is much more difficult to start a business organically, no matter what. So there's definitely some of the old enthusiasm that has come back, and the fun of dealing with some new technology. Obviously, the whole blockchain space is exploding. There's something new happening all the time, and it's very much like travel. There's always something happening all the time. So it's a lot of fun. I'm definitely enjoying it. Although obviously the challenges are slightly different, but having it done once, I'm now looking forward to doing it again.
Great. Thanks, Roberto. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.